Hey, Karin, I know real strength in a leader comes from being able to be calm when things are really tough. And I look at leaders who do that incredibly well. And I want to be that guy or gal, but it's hard. So, what advice do you have for being really calm, regulating my emotions, particularly when times are tough, asking for a friend? Hi, I'm Karin Hurt, and I'm here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend. And I have the perfect friend to ask this question, Scott Mautz, who has just written an entire new, wonderfully practical book on the subject. So, Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks. So much fun to be here. I love being back, and I love what you and David are doing as well.
Thank you so much. Hey, Scott, first, tell us about your book, the name of the book, and then why you wrote this. Why this subject of all the things you could be talking about?
Well, good news is I really think I can help your friend here today, Karin, because the mentally strong leader is all about mental strength. And from a definition standpoint, mental strength is the ability to regulate your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors for productive outcomes, regardless of the circumstances. So even in adversity, in other words, it's managing internally so you can lead externally. And I think we all intuitively know that you have to be able to do this to succeed, but it is hard. It is really hard, even in the best of us. But here's the good news with the mentally strong leader. Here's the key. If you are able to build the habits to increase your mental strength, it's like the cheat code for achievement. It's how you actually train your brain for achievement. It's what makes me think mental strength is maybe the leadership superpower of our times. And I'm so excited about The Mentally Strong Leader because it's the only book that I know of, Karin, that has more than 50 plus proven tools with actual know-how and practical frameworks and models to help you build the habits to increase your mental strength.
Yes, and I love it. And you talk about 6 different habits. And I'd love just to have you quickly go through those. And then I'm going to dig into one that was really my favorite.
Yeah, you bet. And I should set it before I set up the 6 muscles very quickly. It's important for everyone to understand that we all have a baseline of mental strength. The opposite of mental strength is not mentally weak. So you have a baseline to build from if you know how. The key, first of all, is to start with a mental strength self-assessment, which I'll tell your listeners how to get that for free at the end here. And it has 50 questions that allow you to get an overall mental strength score. And within that, you can score yourself on the 6 core mental muscles that you were talking about that equate to mental strength, which are fortitude, confidence, boldness, decision making, the ability to stay focused on goals, and even the ability to message positively to the troops with a high presence and quality of intent. And the beautiful thing about the book is with all these 6 core muscles, you get that score to figure out where you lie on that, and then you can pick which muscles you want to work on. After all, when you go to the gym, Karin, right, you don't go to work on all your muscles. You go with a plan in mind. So with the mentally strong leader, you can get a score on these 6 core mental muscles in your overall mental strength, and then create your own custom mental strength training program.
I love it. And you know what I really thought was great about that assessment? Because I went through and I was doing it for myself. And even within a dimension, I thought there was a range. So for me, boldness was my strength. And that makes sense, right? I teach courage. It makes sense. I do bold moves. And then for confidence, however, I thought some of those things I was really strong, but there were some of the particular dimensions, even though I would consider myself a very confident person, it helped me break that down. It's like, oh, maybe some work could be done in that particular area. So that's why I think that assessment is so powerful.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about it, it took me over 5 years just to develop that assessment alone, test and retest, just like you guys do with all the things that you introduce to the world, Karin. You want to make sure it's validated. And one of the things I learned that's really powerful. So for someone like you that maybe found some areas of confidence you need to work on, the good news is the Mentally Strong Leader book also provides you the chance to get reps, to build the habits with the systems and the frameworks that are the tools in the book. There's over 50 of them, depending on what you want to work on. including sections to help you take that first small step forward in building the habit of better confidence, or the sections that include what to do in moments of weakness when you can feel your confidence faltering. And all that's based on habit building science to actually help you build the habits that you want to build to get more mentally strong, whether it's fortitude or boldness or confidence, decision making, goal focus, or your messaging.
Good. All right. So let's talk about Fortitude.
Yeah.
Because I thought that one, there were two particular tools that I thought were great from a really practical perspective. Grindfulness, which is cute, and talking about an adversity manifesto. So if you could just quickly talk about both of those.
Very quickly, there's a tool, that I think really helps people get through the daily grind. Part of being mentally strong is having the resilience and the fortitude to handle all the things that get thrown at you day to day, whether it's in life or at work, personally or professionally. And I find that there's two things, the intersection of two things create what I call grindfulness. When you can show, to deal with the daily grind, when you can show gratitude and a combination of mindfulness. In the center of gratitude and mindfulness is what I call grindfulness. Neither one of them are good enough. Gratitude in itself isn't good enough because we tend to forget to be thankful. It's easy to say, oh, but Karin, I know you're feeling worn down by the grind. Just remember all the great things that you have going on in your life. That's easy to say. Or I could tell you, hey, just be mindful, right? Engage in mindfulness, slow down, breathe, appreciate what's around you. That sounds great, but often it's not action-oriented enough. Grindfulness is the combination of gratitude and mindfulness, and it sits right in the middle. And it allows you to take pleasure and appreciation in the details of everyday small life, and then to convert that into action and how you feel about the rest of your life.
Nice, nice. Terrific. Okay, let's talk about an adversity manifesto, because I think that is such a very powerful thing for teams to talk about.
You know what? I think I've found that one of the most powerful moments for leaders is what happens in times of crisis and adversity. Your true character comes out in those moments and in ways that won't be forgotten, for good or for not so good. And I really, talk about in the Mentally Strong Leader the idea of creating an adversity manifesto, which is, as a leader, put on paper. We've all seen leaders put on my 10 great principles of leadership. And when they show up on a job, they hand those out to everybody. Imagine if you wrote down your 5 core principles of how you're going to show up when things get bad. And they will. Adversity will eventually happen. But imagine if you said to your group, right up front, here's my manifesto. When things get tough, you can count on it to be calm, cool, collected. I won't point fingers. I'll circle around the solution, not the problem, and so on and so on and so on. And what happens is you set an expectation that, hey, group, I know adversity is coming. This is what you can expect from me. And oh, by the way, I'll probably expect the same thing from you.
Yeah. And you could have teams. You could do it as a team activity too. How are we going to show up? What are the habits we're going to do when times get tough, which they inevitably will. Love it. Okay, Scott, thank you so much for sharing your new book, your new wisdom, your practical tools, your free assessment. Tell people where they can find all this.
If you go to scottmautz.com/mentally strong gift, all that together, scottmautz.com/mentally strong gift, you can download a free 60-page PDF that includes the 50-question mental strength self-assessment. And if you decide you want to buy the book, and it gives you prompts to get the most out of that book. But even if all you're interested in is the self-assessment, you can get it at scottmautz.com/mentally strong gift.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Scott. I look forward to talking to you again soon.